everyone, and welcome to the Life Balance podcast with me, Lisa Smith.
And myself, Carol Watson.
Hi, so today we'd like to talk to you about habits and discipline.
Yes.
So by this we mean the positive effects that they can have on your life.
Yeah.
And just bring in a few examples and things that we do to keep things going. So let's face it, this day and age, we are in a sort of cycle where everyone wants everything quickly.
Yeah, everyone wants instant gratification.
Instant gratification, that's right. And so you see all these fitness things. And
everyone's looking for the magic bullet, the magic pill that's going to solve all their problems. And whether that's in, like you said, fitness, or like if it's like transform your relationship now, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If it's in property or whatever, everyone's looking for this magic bullet, but you know what? You're going to have to get disciplined and put in some hard work and create new habits.
Yeah, so I read something this morning that said that if you put in something, make a change in your life as a positive change, if you carry out that change consistently over 21 days, you've created a new habit. But if you do it over 90 days, then you've actually created a new lifestyle change. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that is why you get, like you said, you get these like 90-day fitness programs, because that is the period of time you need to give to something to make it actually real in your life.
And get the results that you're wanting.
But I don't think you can't just say, yeah, I'll just do this for 20 days and it's going to be smooth sailing. If you're doing something quite big, in your life, like both of us have done the John Keyhole program, and I think I've said in a previous podcast, it took me 4 attempts of doing this program to actually, which I think it is it it's a month long, isn't it?
Yeah,
so it's
4 weeks.
Yeah, 4-week long program, and your mind, and the reason I didn't do it for the first 3 times or however many times it was, is because my mind took me out of the game.
Yeah,
because you convince yourself that you don't need to do it, or you don't want the results enough, or whatever it is, you totally take yourself out.
I know, and because it takes that little bit more effort, I think you're ready to accept that. Yeah. You're ready to accept your mind to say, oh, Carol, it's too hard. Don't bother doing it. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what your mind actually does. It actually
and with
takes
fitness and everything, it's like,
what are you doing?
Yeah. So when I had my little girl, I really enjoyed my first pregnancy, and I ate a lot of cakes, and therefore had quite a bit of weight to lose coming out the other end. But it's okay, that was my choice. And I went to Slimming World, and even and it's all about sticking to eating healthy, and you're allowed to be naughty some of the days as long as you count it in, but your mind's just like, well, I really want this, and it is going for that instant gratification, like you said. It's like, yeah, but I might lose 2 pounds this week, or I can have a chocolate bar right now and
I'm maybe not feeling that great, or it's cold and windy outside, I'm not going to go for that run, I'll just sit in and put the fire on.
Or I've not got any food in, I'll just order a Chinese.
It's so bad.
And right, so how do you get habits and stay disciplined? And I think the first thing is be organised.
Set yourself up for success.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. I don't think you can do that. I mean, what I used to do was, I used to go to a kickboxing class at 6 a.m, and obviously that is pretty early, especially when
it's like half an hour away. So
half an hour away, especially when I had to catch the train. Like, I had to leave my house at 7:30 in the morning to catch the train. So what I would do is use my alarm on my phone, but place it in a whole other room.
Really?
So that I had to physically get up and go and get it, and once you're up, it's fine. So and I always had to lay out my clothes.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I used to go to a spin class. It wasn't quite 6, it was 7. But again, it was a wee bit away as well. So the one thing that definitely helped me is laying out my clothes, because I think that it does something in your head. So if you, the night before, you're like, right, I put my gym clothes, your brain's like, so you're going to have to get up and put these clothes on and go out the door early tomorrow, because we're being organised and doing it now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I actually seen an Instagram video from the lovely Matt Saltis, and at the weekend, and he said, whatever you're getting up for in the morning, you know, like, so, like, if you had to get up for a 4 a.m. flight to go on holiday with your family, you would never miss that flight.
No.
So you have to make yourself excited about what you're going to get up for.
Just getting excited to speak to you in the morning.
Exactly. I know, why wouldn't you? Surely. But yeah, like, get yourself excited for like the day ahead. And like Carol, we film these videos and these podcasts and things in my house, and Carol came in and I've got the tunes blaring, like ready, getting pumped, ready to go. Give us energy for it. And I always have our tea ready. I set us up for success.
We're ready.
We always have our little ginger tea and stuff like that. But it is like creating good habits, and I think we've got into really good habits actually, you know, the last little while in our working life, right? So
and it does, and it builds there's that book about the compound effect. I want to say it's Darren Hardy, is that right? I think it is. And it is just about doing these little things every day, and they build up, and then you'll start to see the results. So we can speak about how being disciplined will impact your business, and obviously, as you know, Lisa and I are in property. So we both spend at least half an hour a day on Rightmove, which, not going to lie, it's a little bit soul destroying at times. And the same on LinkedIn. And it takes time. So, and it's the same with fitness as well. It takes time. So you are, like I said, going on Rightmove every single day, and you might not see anything for weeks, but if you just keep going, you're going to eventually find something. The law and how numbers work, and it's eventually going to come round, and you're going to have to find something. Same with fitness. Like, if you're going to the gym every day, obviously there's other things impact that. You've got to be eating right as well, but even then, if you're going to the gym every day, even if you weren't eating right, you're still going to see change in your body. You're still going to be building muscles or whatever.
Still going to get stronger and fatter.
Yeah,
exactly. And no, I think you're right. Like, the little things that you do every day, like, say for example, you wanted to connect, like, some people do it the opposite way, and they don't see it as the little things every day that make a big impact. It's more like, right, Friday, I'm going to scour Rightmove. I'm going to have all my property viewings.
And they might spend like 3 hours on a Friday doing it, rather than half an hour a day. It's the same thing, I suppose, but it might just be how it works for them.
And then if estate agents are loading the new properties on a Monday, that's a whole week.
Yeah, you're missing out.
That you're missing out. So, like, it's the same with like little bits and pieces. Like my dad, he has always been really fit, and he says he's the worst runner ever, but he runs every day.
Really?
Yeah, he's a struggling runner or something like that. And what he's said that he started to do again is to run twice a day, but only for 20 minutes. So 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. I mean, surely everyone could get ready and go for a run for 20 minutes, right? But over the course of a week, that builds up to, you know, not far off a marathon.
Yeah, that's mental.
That's crazy when you actually think about that. And obviously for the distance that he runs, I'd be a half marathon. My little short legs going along. But it just shows you, I mean, like, because they do that couch to 5k, you remember? Yeah. And that's really good, and it's just a little bit every day to get you back in.
Yeah, it totally builds you up. So you'd be, for the first week, you're walking and then jogging a little bit, and then walking and then jogging a little bit, and then it starts going that you're, the periods of time gets longer, and then it builds it up, so then you're running and jogging instead of walking. But yeah, it's good.
And I think, like, definitely going back to the business and the property and things, when I was saying about somebody taking, you know, a whole day out to do one task, you might take a whole day out to call all your prospects, or a whole day out to network, for example, if you're going out. But if you do a little bit every day, say you were to call 2 new people every single day,
Yeah.
and have that conversation with them, and then have a follow-up. So just turn it around and maybe use like a 2-2-2 diagram. So 2 new people, 2 follow-ups, and then 2, it might be like prospect, like literally going on LinkedIn, like you don't know these people, and like sort of building a relationship that way. And if you did that every single day, the compound effect would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, over, like, if you're getting that's like 60 new contacts in a month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, and it, like you said, if it's a numbers game, you're bound to get new customers from that, surely, right?
Absolutely.
And if you're not, you need to start recording your calls.
Yeah.
And find out what's going on.
And get some help.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I think you need to be okay with it taking some time. Like, you need to be okay playing the long game.
Definitely in investing, I think.
Yeah.
That
And
people...
land, especially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know. Like, there's just no time frame, is there, really? But yeah, especially in property and land, it's a definite long game. And I think any landlord will tell you that you know, there's peaks and troughs in the market, and if you're to hold your property, there's a lot of landlords that, you know, you'll have sold, you know, if you get a little antsy and you're like, oh, like it's really close to the button, you know what I mean? Like,
there's so much people selling up just now because of Brexit. So we have no idea what's going to happen.
I actually seen someone post on LinkedIn to share an article on Brexit, to say the house prices were to drop like 20% or something like that. I don't know how they even know that, because they don't know the outcome, and they don't know what sort of deal is going to be on the table. And he shared it saying, this is why I'm holding off on my next flip. You're like, 6
months.
But this is before Brexit. Surely you would want to do a flip now.
September, October, November, December, January, February. It's 6 months till Brexit.
How long is your flip going to take?
It shouldn't take more than 6 months. And also, well, it has to take 6 months. But no.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've spoke to umpteen very clever people who, one being an economist, who doesn't think Brexit's actually going to happen in February. It's going to be put off by another 6 months. So these people who are sitting, and this is about people who wait for the perfect moment.
You're never going to get it.
No. Like, I had Ailey halfway through my 4th year. That is not the perfect moment. Definitely not. But you just need to do it when you think that the time's right for you.
But I think a lot of people would say that there's no right time to have children, right?
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
So you just have to do what happens, and accept it, and accept it as a challenge. And like you say, set yourself up for success. I think in the last podcast, Carol had spoken about how she needed a baby that slept through the night because she was at university. So you did all your studying, and she made Excel spreadsheets and everything. And then she
has an app.
But she's sleeping 2.5 months, 3 months, something like that. About that. So that's a success. But that's a long game. You know what I mean? Like, that's a 90-day plan for sure.
Oh yeah, at least.
For you to study and then implement.
I feel like bad because that sounds like she was born and then I'm like, right, you're on a routine. I was not like that at all. I gave her a good couple of weeks on the earth. But they say when they're tiny babies, they don't really understand routine. So it was probably not till probably 2 months. So honestly, that took like half a month maximum to get her into like a routine where she slept through the night. But for the first 2 months, I was still following. I wasn't being strict. I was still following the advice that I'd one key bit of advice was to make sure that when I was feeding her, because the babies wake up when they're hungry, so when I was feeding her, to make sure she was having a full feed and not just let her have like a little snack and then she'd fall asleep. So you have like a rough idea how long a full feed should be. So if I'm like, this is like half the length of time, she's like falling asleep, total milk coma, or tickle her toes or blowing her to make sure she's like actually done. So it wasn't like I was full on like being a Nazi feeding mum at Easter and Shenley. I love her really.
But then, like, discipline's not a bad thing. You know what I mean?
And so,
routine even.
yeah,
Not discipline.
yeah. So the NHS's advice is to feed on demand, and so there's like two. I feel like we're going way off topic. Sorry, guys, if this is not for you, but we're going
I
here.
think this will go for mums and dads everywhere.
Yeah. So there's two like extreme points of view when it comes to feeding and routines and things like that. There's the NHS's current suggestion, which is to feed on demand. And then there's the other one, which is strict scheduling. And this is a bit mean because you like let your baby cry until it's been 3 hours and stuff like that. Or what I done was kind of in the middle, which was parent directed feeding. So it was if she cried for food, I would feed her. But if it got to 3 hours and she hadn't cried, I would still feed her. And that's kind of, so it's just kind of finding what works for you and your child. But I think this applies to life and business as well, because there will be like people who are like, you have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, if you want to be successful, you need to be up at 5 in the morning.
But then you
some
go over
people
to
are like
America
that.
and they're like, you have to go at 4.
Yeah.
You're just
Next
like,
level.
oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. And then there's other people who are like, no, but I want to stay up till like 3 in the morning. So therefore, obviously, they're not going to be getting up at 4. You can't live in an hour's sleep. You need to find what works for you.
But then there's people that work through the night, or there's someone I know that works in 4-hour stints.
Yeah.
Like 4 and then does whatever.
Yeah.
And then 4 hours. And just does that 24/7.
Really? Some offshore jobs are like that. I'm sure guys been on a rotation like that.
Yeah. And I think like that's a good point about offshore as well. Like we were talking about like property and habits and having discipline and things, and I think, you know, definitely when you're offshore, I think when you're in that sort of environment, it's high risk, you know, you're in crazy patterns, shift patterns and things like that. You're away from your family and things, but I think a lot of guys and girls would think that that's the sort of short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. You know, like they're trying to build up a pot of money, or you know, they're trying to build up something for an exit. I mean, we know a lot of people in property that used to work offshore,
so
and
many people.
that's a big
one
thing.
of the reasons we were wanting to get into property.
Yeah.
Is there's not very many other industries where you can earn what you can earn offshore. Onshore, property is definitely one.
Yeah, and I think as long as you come into the mentality of property being a long game, then you know it's going to work for you. You know, and I think in terms of a long game, I don't mean a certain strategy. Like obviously, if you're flipping properties, you want to get rid of them as soon as possible. But you know, if you're a landlord and you're holding properties for a portfolio, it's maybe trading out a couple of properties if they're not doing so well.
Yeah.
But in the long term, like keeping that strategy, or in the long term, I mean, actually sticking with property for a good, 20-30 years.
Yeah. How many people
as
do
an
we know
investment
who
vehicle
want to try and do what we do? They come and give it a go for like 6 months. Some not even that long. Like 6 months is not a long time at all.
No.
And then they're like off gallivanting doing something else.
Yeah, like something completely different.
What are you doing?
And I think it just, if they don't get that instant gratification, like you said, like it's like anything, you know. I mean, how many diets are there in the world?
Yeah, so many. And
Oh.
so it's finding what works for you and sticking with it.
Like the one, what was the thing? It was apple cider vinegar. Like having like
Teaspoon a day or something.
aye, and I'm like,
my friend's a nurse and I'm pretty sure she does that.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember why.
Is that combined with like turmeric or something?
Yeah.
For like a weight loss thing?
Yeah,
I'm
like
like,
she definitely doesn't do it for weight loss.
whoa.
Yeah.
That is like
So many crazy things.
short term.
Yeah.
That can only be short term.
Yeah, and you get other diets that are short term. Like it's like eat this for like 4 days and you'll lose like half a stone. It's like,
Yeah, like of
that's
course
not
you will,
healthy to lose
because
that over that period of time.
you're having like veggie shakes.
Yeah.
You're not actually
That's
having
the way you
anything
go.
else. So of course you are, and if you don't, like there's something seriously wrong.
Yeah.
But so I think we talk about this quite a lot, like the short-term pain for a long-term gain.
Yeah, but also I had a recent thing which made me think about, you just said short-term pain for long-term gain. Yeah, the other way around. So short-term gain for long-term pain. So it's being careful what you get yourself into.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, so you don't want to go and sign up for something that it's like when you're actually doing it, you're like, yes, this is amazing, and then like 2 weeks later think, oh my god, what have I just signed my life away to? You need to be so careful what you get into, and I don't know, how do you know when situations like that come up? I suppose it's just don't rush into things, make sure you do your due diligence and decide if this sits with your own personal values.
And I think you'll know if something like that doesn't sit with your own values. Is they talk about a gut feeling, but that is like so true.
Yeah,
they say,
something inside.
I think we spoke about this before. They say that like what you're taking in your brain connects to your heart.
Yeah,
and that's how they say it's like a gut feeling.
I don't think I've spoken about that before. No.
And so if you feel like it doesn't connect with your values, you feel it in your heart.
Yeah.
And then like because you're feeling it internally, you're like, oh, it's a gut feeling.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you said, like take your due diligence.
Also bring it to your counsel. So if you've got people that you go to for advice, like we speak to each other all the time because we're in the same industry and similar in a few other things, and our values are really similar. So if you have a council of people that you go to for advice, then if there's something that's not sitting well with you and they know what you're about, they understand where you're trying to go in life, then ask them for advice. Like we do that with each other all the time because we're both in the same industry and have really similar values and beliefs. So I'll be like, Lisa, so this is potentially happening, but there's just something's not right. What do you think?
It's just a sounding board, you know. Like it doesn't have to be.
I don't have to. I think remember you spoke about the time you make decisions on the flip a coin, but you don't really, because it's like as soon as say you want it to be heads and it's tails, you'll be like, oh no, and then you're pushing a decision. So if I take something to you and you're like, yeah, I would do that, Carol, and then I'm like, oh, but. And then
it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
you made your decision.
Exactly. So definitely. And obviously we've got other people who are further down the road than us that we speak to as well.
That have been through it all, and like they understand the angel and devil scenario that you're going through, and you're like, oh, I don't know, or like whatever you're looking at, and they're just like, most of the time.
Definitely.
Or
times.
A few other times they're like, are you crazy?
A bit of a Balkan.
To test the waters.
To see how far we can push it.
So exactly. And I think so on the habits and discipline and things, and bringing it into your business and everything like that. Again, it all comes back to your mindset.
Yeah.
And
our favourite topic. In case you haven't noticed.
Mindset. And where you are with this. I mean, there's a couple of people that I know, one person in particular, is struggling with their mindset just now, and they're not setting themselves up for success, and they're not being disciplined and creating habits that will change their mindset and benefit them in the long term. And it's they're in a sort of like downward, a little bit of a downward spiral, and it's difficult. And I mean, everyone's probably got someone like that in their lives, and all you can do is sort of feed them little snippets of what you're maybe studying or what you're looking at. A lot of people, when they're not ready to accept,
like what's the saying, you can bring a horse to water but you can't make them drink. They need to be in a position where they're willing to make these changes. So it's talking about other people's habits. This is getting deep. You can't force anyone to do anything.
Exactly. And I think it's just the power of repetition. You know, if you're the person always there, being successful and creating good habits and shouting about your successes and
Yeah.
saying, well, you know, I didn't come up with this on my own, I was studying whoever, and, you know, then
But
that's going to help.
I don't know about you. Do you use Audible?
Audible.
Yeah.
I was like, Audible?
Say
What
it
is
audibly.
this? Yes, Audible is my favourite app
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And I listen to it on my laptop, on my computer. In fact, I've started putting it through Alexa.
Have you?
Yeah, it's quite
That's
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done this quite a lot. I've read or listened, to a book on Audible, is you can share it with someone, and if they've not used it before, they get the first book for free.
Oh.
Quite good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way to spread the
Spread the
mindset of, yeah.
Oh, that is good actually. Yeah, I didn't know that.
If you go to the
Yeah.
book, there's a wee link where you can click share.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I think that's about us for today.
Yeah, definitely.
So today we've covered, you know, habits and discipline, the importance of it, especially in your business as well, and your day-to-day life, and sort of setting yourself up for success.
Not rushing into things.